Yes, we do. We have to do that.
We have to get connected with Doug and do a little promo shoot.
That's probably what's going to need to happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is. Yes. As welcome in, this is WBRE, WYOU 2822 Sports Night exclusively here on the 2822 CTV app. Joined once again by the executive producer here on Sports Night, Ricky Turner. I am Zach Grady here, the 2822 Sports Director. And it was a big weekend here in the 570. Not a great weekend, unfortunately, but still a big weekend.
Yeah, it was. A lot of stuff going on. Penguins game 6, a lot of lacrosse action on Saturday as well. Pretty packed weekend overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good for some local NEPA fans as well. If they did want to get out to those lacrosse games, they were set up pretty well, especially schedule-wise, including for yourself, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. Whenever you get, sometimes luck is on your side, and whenever you get 3 lacrosse games, boys and girls, all at one location, I'd say that's pretty lucky, and all within, I think, just outside of an hour. So.
How big would the game would have been if Prep and Abington Heights got to play each other?
That would have been very big because I think both of those schools not only were looking for their first trip first trip to the semifinals. That would have been a fun rematch to have, as we saw some good lacrosse earlier between those two in the District 2 finals as well.
Yeah, what, 1-goal game, overtime experience?
Yes, overtime experience.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, both of them coming just a little bit short here over the weekend.
Yes.
You've been all over the scene when it comes to high school sports, huh?
Yes, boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, baseball, softball. It's been a wild couple weeks.
You need me to stop talking to you for a second so you can load up some sound? Is that what you're giving me that look for?
No, I got the Penguins VO here loaded up.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Penguins. Yes, that was the big story on Sunday.
Yes.
I mean, great game, just
it was.
Incredible game. Just very disappointing in the way that one ended up, especially with the opportunities that some of the Penguins had. Both in the third period and in overtime, and certainly the way that Sergei Miroshov was playing, which I hate to say it, that might have been his swan song. I don't know if we'll see Sergei Miroshov again here in Wilkes-Barre Scranton come next year.
Yeah, because I was looking on, I think a couple of the Penguins reporters with nothing to do, I think their job was coming down here sort of looking at some of the talent left playing, and a lot of Penguins fans were happy with the way Miroshov played, I'll tell you that.
You know what was crazy to me? And if you got a chance to watch it on Flow Sports, if you watched the game at all when they're on the road, or if you weren't able to get to Mohegan Arena on Sunday, if you watched from home, they showed the press conference for the Toronto Marlies, just with the coach as they were leading up. And the amount of media that was in the scrum just for the AHL game for the Toronto team is incredible. I'm going to tell you, this atmosphere for a Calder Cup championship in Toronto, it's going to be big. It's going to be really big.
It does. And Toronto's, again, a city hungry for not only an NHL championship, I think this was the first time since 2018 that they're back in the Calder Cup. So some long-anticipated
1954, I believe, for the Leafs, I think is their last championship.
Yes, I know they've been a really long while, but
I mean, one of the things that was being said was the only equivalent to what's going on right now in New York City would be if Toronto was in the Stanley Cup Finals against another Canadian team. That would be the only way to really match what's happening right now on 33rd Street on Madison Square Garden and everything that is happening with the NBA Finals as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Toronto, obviously, that's Canada's baby. They love hockey, and they've 2 hockey teams, storied hockey teams going at it would certainly be, I think, a big event there. Is Toronto, obviously, arguably the biggest city in Canada. I'm sure they are hungry to get back, and
they had a good crowd on Sunday at the arena, even for the Marlies.
Seem like they travel well.
They do travel well. I mean, I don't know if it's so much if it's they travel well because hockey means so much, especially to Canadians, or if it's because of the way that or the disgust that they have right now for the Maple Leafs, for the pro team, for what's going on and the decisions that are being made at the NHL level. I know that they've orchestrated some different types of protests and boycotts. I mean, maybe they're all going to be Marlies fans and not go to the Maple Leafs games, but I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the same owner owns both teams, so I don't know how well that boycott works out there. Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, certainly it was a great atmosphere, seemed like at that game. And like I was watching again some highlights of that overtime and late in the third period. Those goalies were just making some incredible.
Miroshov was 16 saves in the third period. The Marlies goalie had 10. They each had 9 saves in the overtime period as well. Unfortunately, Miroshov needed to make a 10th to survive, to keep it going. But it wasn't Miroshov's fault, not at all. I mean, none of that was on Miroshov. I mean, he gave up 2 goals, yes. But I mean, the goals themselves were just a lot of traffic in front of the net, a lot of confusion, a lot of things that, could block the goalie in his vision. But ultimately, I mean, the offense that was so dominant for Wilkes-Barre, Scranton leading into this. And again, I mean, it was the versatility, the depth, the back and forth, 13 goal scorers that at some point, though, there was no one who could take over the game and put it in the back of the net. That's what I noticed, is that there was no one. I mean, Bill Zonin had a run, but he wasn't necessarily a playmaker. He was always finding himself at the right place at the right time. There was no one that could just necessarily say, all right, I'm going to execute here in a 2-on-1 or an ISO situation or a breakaway. And there was a lot of play in their defensive end, in the Penguins' defensive end, and not so much necessarily from the red line on.
Yeah, and I think because when you look at Toronto's stat sheet, I saw a lot of guys with 5 goals in the postseason, 6 goals. And again, when you look at the Penguins, it is, as you mentioned, it is more spread out, and sometimes that could play against you. And the spread out nature of the Penguins' offense in this case, I think, was their downfall. They couldn't count on that one guy to really, I think, put them over the top this postseason. As you mentioned, Bill Zonin had a run, but in the end, Toronto, I think, had more of a bulk up top in terms of who they wanted to go to, and you see that goal there by...
And a lot more experienced guys as well.
More experienced guys, and that was something, again, Penguins, a lot of young talent, but not a lot of deep playoff experience like they've had in past years.
No, and I mean, but now they do. I mean, this is a team that's gone to the playoffs in back-to-back years under Coach McDonald. This is a team now that's made it, within a couple of bounces away from the Calder Cup Finals. Again, that second game, that call in overtime, whatever you want to be, I mean, I think things are a little different if it's 1-1, and then, who knows what happens in Toronto. But ultimately, I mean, again, the Penguins were the 2 seed, Toronto was the 4 seed. Penguins had home ice. If you take care of business, you're on to the Calder Cup Finals. But again, this team learned a lot this playoffs. If you talk to Coach McDonald, if you talk to some of the guys on the ice, they were able to really mature a little bit as well. And I think ultimately, 2 back-to-back trips and some heartbreak isn't a bad thing, and that might serve well next season, at least for Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and maybe in the long run for the big club and the Pittsburgh organization as well. So stick around, though. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have more here on the Penguins as we have sound from a bunch of them, as today was the last media availability as well. It was locker room clear out and clean out. So we're going to get to that. Sounds from Coach McDonald and a couple of players when we get back. So don't go anywhere. This is WBRE, WYOU's 28-22 Sports Night, exclusively on the CTV app. Ricky, I didn't even mention, we were talking about how big of a week it was. You know what I was watching on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
What are you watching?
I was watching racing from Michigan. You know why I was watching racing from Michigan?
Prep for this coming weekend, I would.
What's this coming weekend?
This coming weekend would be the big Pocono race.
Big Pocono race, yeah.
Pocono race on Sunday, obviously going on throughout the weekend as well. But
busy week for us, huh?
Very, very busy week. I was just telling you when I got back from the games I was at earlier. We got a full slate towards the back half of the week.
I mean, I definitely did not want the Penguins to lose last night. And I'll tell you this, come next week, you and I are going to be sitting here with, just standing around like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do?
We get all that noise late in the week, and then it just goes downhill.
It's summertime. Nothing to do but go to the rail riders. Or the
cross-cutters. Some QB camps, and then
it'll be football season before you know
camps. Yeah, then we have the Dream Game coming up next late July. So
and you know what? Actually, I got an email too. There's the 9th annual the Schuylkill competition.
Great story. If you're looking for to tie news into sports, I think
are you? Because you're going to be the one going to it. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, it's Tuesday. So yeah, I mean, I'll be there.
Yeah.
It's certainly it's for a great cause. I know it's a competition between all the Schuylkill League schools. They raise a lot of money. I think they raised $200,000 last year. They compete in like tire, I think sort of like field day competitions.
No, it's like what was it? Not the quarterback competition, the QB club, but remember when you used to watch the NFL guys? They do the cone drill, they do the tire flip, they do the agility circuit. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah. It's not so much three-legged races and egg toss competitions. But
I guess the field day wasn't the best.
Field day was fun, man.
It was.
I did enjoy field day. Took it way too serious. Were you a gym class hero? I was a gym class hero.
Yeah, whether I want to admit it, I
don't understand why you. Why would you not want to like?
Yeah, I didn't want to lose. That was my I'm naturally. Being in sports, competition. So
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if people take algebra super serious and need to be the number one in that class, like, what's wrong with being the number one in gym class?
Nothing.
You get a scholarship. Hopefully, well, not for gym class, but yeah, I was a gym class hero. You know who wasn't gym class heroes? Who these guys were real athletes?
Who?
The Penguins.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the real athletes were headed home this weekend after a tough loss in the Eastern Conference Finals. That was a terrible transition by me, but it's all right. We had a chance to catch up with some of the Penguins this morning. This was over at the Toyota Sports Complex here in Wilkes-Barre. The team doing their exit interviews and doing their locker cleanouts. I mean, it's mid-June. They'll be back, 10 weeks maybe?
Yeah,
September-ish?
September, October, somewhere around there.
I mean, we talk about, what are we going to do next week? It doesn't last for that long. It really doesn't.
Just a dull couple, because again, like end of July, you start seeing the high school colleges will start getting back.
We got World Cup.
World Cup's starting next week.
No, starting this week.
This week.
Starting this week.
Yes, this week as well. So, yeah, again, it doesn't last for that long, but it's just that.
It feels like it. Yeah, it feels like it. Especially when you need to deliver 3 minutes of local content every day at 6 and 11.
Yeah, that's when you negotiate with news. Hey, we can give you need.
You need 30 seconds back. We're taking it. We're taking it tonight. News. We're taking your 30 seconds tonight. But I mean, again, that's because Ricky, where were you this afternoon?
I was at two local softball games in Hazleton. So again, lucked out with that. We had 2 guaranteed state playoff teams going to the finals.
Yes, 6 teams altogether, 4 from District 2, another 2 from District 11, 2 games out of the 4 games where you had a District 2 team against a District 11 team, so that works out for us.
It does. Great competition as well. But yeah, you're going to see it. We had a returning state semifinals matchup from last year as well. And it was, again, an action-packed time in Hazleton, beautiful facilities. I know you haven't gotten down there yet, but redid their whole facilities, baseball and softball, both football too.
So, all right, 2:00 game was your early game. Well, who do we have at 2:00? What was that matchup?
We had at the 2:00 game, we had we had Holy Cross and Tri-Valley, and let's just say it really lived up to its name. These two teams were going at it all game long. It was a close 3-0 finish. As she has all year, Holy Cross's pitcher Ava Schmidt went a complete game, 11 strikeouts.
She's a stud. I've heard her name a bunch.
Yes, and yes, she's an absolute stud. A senior. I forget where she's going to school, but yeah, I've been there a few of her games. She's just been lights out all year. A lot of 4 hits, a solo home run from their catcher. Really sealed the deal in the second inning. They got some insurance runs in the 6th and 7th, but Ava Schmidt just really, again, Tri-Valley, great squad. Had their own stud on the mound as well. They only gave up 3 runs, but Ava Schmidt is just next. Talk about next level pitching. She's a next level pitcher.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up now exactly where she's headed as well. But I mean, again, that's. I know District 2 and District 11 necessarily, they don't cheer for each other. But for us, as where we have to cover 4 districts more or less, I mean, the opportunity to follow these teams across the board, it is a nice little setup where you see, all right, cool. Either way, we're gonna have a good feeling. We're gonna have some. Viewers at home who are going to get to enjoy this and get to really light up one way or another, depending on what our highlights are.
Yeah, and again, that's the big thing. I guess, again, you win either way in a way because one of these teams is going to the state finals. And for Holy Cross, it was their first state semifinals. They're going to be their first state finals as well, so shout out to them. And on the other side of things was the 3A softball matchup, a rematch of last year between Pine Grove area down in District 11 and Mid Valley. The District 2 winner, Ava Hazelton, was on the mound for Mid Valley. She went a complete game, but unfortunately, Pine Grove area was just too much. Chelsea Clark had a day on the mound. The junior, I think, only allowed 1 run, of 4 hits on the day. She was really in command all game long. And then, of course, the big story there was Kaylee Leffler, the senior, going to Florida State. She's going to be a Seminole, gave the team a 3-0 lead with a solo home run after going up scoring a run in the first 2 innings. They go up 3-0 there, and then the big hit came from number 19, Hannah Angst, drove a 2-run triple that really opened the door. And unfortunately for Mid Valley, a team that we've covered extensively, and Ava Hazelton, who's going to be a stud next year. She's coming back in a Mid Valley squad that I think only has 2 or 3 seniors. But Pine Grove area wins the rematch and gets to defend their title that they won last year in 3A.
And I know there was a couple other games going on. Abington Heights moving on. They got to win, and they will be playing in the state the state finals as well. That was at the 5A level. Yeah, 5A. And then 4A as well. We had another team that was able to make it Valley View. So, I mean, that's 4 teams headed to the state championship out of this area, out of the 570 northeastern Pennsylvania area as well. There was 3 games going on the baseball diamond. Yes. Unfortunately, not as lucky on the baseball diamond, but 1 team moving on, Montoursville, not able to make it back to the championship, unfortunately. And, they were last year's state runners-up. They were unable to get the job done today, but a great season by them as well. Mifflinsburg. So, I mean, it was softball dominated by District 2 and District 11, and then baseball dominated by District 4's Montoursville and Mifflinburg, both making
shout
it.
Out to Mifflinburg. That was a really good Holy Ghost prep. Holy Ghost prep was running through teams.
Yeah.
And Mifflinburg, I think, held them to 3 or 4 runs. And to do that, only lose by 2 or 3 runs. They gave them really all they could handle there in District 4 against a really, really good Holy Ghost prep team.
And I mean, those were the two teams that did not have any success today. I mean, we should probably get to the team that did have some success. Yes. Southern Columbia headed to a state championship game. What can we look forward to seeing with them in the state championship game?
Ironically, the only game I've went to this year for Southern Columbia, they've lost. So I may have been their bad luck. A little bit of bad luck there, but yes, they have a really talented roster, 18-4, 11th ranked in the state. They boast a really talented roster. I believe they made it to a similar level last year as well, but they've been dominant all throughout this season. They, again, beat a really good Halifax team 2-0. Marion Catholic, another, I think, District 11 2A team. They beat them 5-3. And their losses this year have been against solid teams.
Okay, I promise you I was listening to what you were saying. I promise you I was listening to what you're saying. And we are going to take a break here. And when we get back, we're going to get to some of that penguin sound that we talked about. But I just want to let you know, as you were talking about that, and my apologies to all in Southern Columbia right now, all of the Southern Columbia fans.
Yes.
But I will paraphrase, because I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know what's going on. It's 8:23. And we're getting ready for the second half of Sports Night.
Yes.
My buddy just texted me, and I'm getting my text here on the laptop.
Yeah.
That was the sickest blank I've ever seen. I need to know what's going on in the game, so we're going to take a little break here, and I'm going to go ahead and just get a quick update on the NBA Finals, Game 3. And when we get back, we're going to head over to the Toyota Sports Complex, and we're going to hear from Coach Kurt McDonald as the Penguins today did their exit interview. So, Ricky, Turner, and myself coming right back at you here after this break on WBRE, WYOU's 2822 Sports Night. All right, so I guess that was just a really good pregame show because the game hasn't even started yet. Yeah, the game hasn't even started yet. And he's already like, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen. I guess the run-in was pretty solid. I don't know. I'm so excited. Although, listen, all right, we're going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. I know we keep teasing these penguin sounds, and it's going to be the end of the show before we get to it. All right. This has nothing to do with anything on one side or the other. This has to do with security and vibes. New York City has had a vibe. New York City has been a party.
Electric.
Whether the games are on the road or at home. I mean, dudes are shooting music videos outside of the Garden for game 2. I mean, that's how many people were outside of the Garden just watching, just partying, just having a good time. You see all these videos across New York City of people, just neighborhoods, hanging out together. Violence and crime in New York City is at an all-time low, despite what happened on the train. And that's a terrible, terrible situation with 6 people getting stabbed. And of course, as I say that, it's at all time. But yeah, that beside the point. The vibe is not the same in the Garden tonight, and it has nothing to do with one side or the other, has nothing to do with politics or sports or anything like that. It just has to do with the fact that there's no parties out front because of Secret Service and the visit from the president. And again, like I said, it has nothing to do with anything. It could be any president. It's just the fact that there's not the parties, there's not the vibe, there's not going to be anyone after the game yelling bing bong, Nixon 4 or 3. I'm nervous that the change, I'm very superstitious, and I'm nervous that the change in the vibe around the city today is what's going to undo the Knicks. And I hate to say this, I really, really do. And like, I think I only say it because I'm a pessimist. I think I only say it because like I've never been in this situation. I've never been able to be this close. I mean, the closest I've ever been to witnessing a championship myself. Okay, I witnessed 94 with the Rangers, but I was 8 years old. Like I didn't, it wasn't the same. You know, you need to have some heartbreak in your life before you really can enjoy a championship. You know, unless you're Celtics fans or Patriots fans, because, you know, they've had no heartbreak over the last 20 years. But the closest I was, I guess it would be 2015 when the Mets were ahead in all 5 games of the World Series. They had the lead in the 9th inning in all 5 games of that World Series and still lost somehow 4-1. Like, that is insane. And I don't even blame Jesus Familia. I don't even blame Urias Familia, and I don't blame Matt Hardy, but right now I will say, despite the fact that the Knicks won the first 2 games, despite the fact that they're playing the next 2 at home and they won the first 2 in San Antonio, I really worry that if San Antonio wins tonight, the series might completely shift. And I think it's because the vibes in New York aren't the same.
Could be it. Again, if you're a very superstitious person, I know there's people out there that just, again, the Garden has been a spiritual place over the last.
Not just the Garden, but all around the Garden, all around Lone Manhattan. Yeah, the watch parties everywhere.
So again, hopefully, that the vibe doesn't change. But yeah, with the heightened security, obviously, there's not going to be those same rowdy Knicks and 4 fans outside the arena that's happened every single
and
game.
That's what's made it so special. That's what's made it so unique and different. And again, I mean, like a few years ago when the Knicks won their first playoff game in God knows how long, I mean, they were down 3-0 to the Heat. This was the LeBron Heat. Down 3-0. They won a game. They still lost the series 4-1. And Knicks fans were made fun of because, you know, their confetti dropped in the Garden after winning that game as the first playoff game in like 20 years that they had won or something like that. And then a few years later, Knicks fans were made fun of because, you know, they were, you know, outside of the Garden after the Knicks beat Trae Young and the Hawks. And I mean, Trae Young ended up winning that series. The Hawks ended up winning the series. So like, there's a lot of built up and pent up emotion. And I guess maybe it's different in this regard that like there was this built up and pent up emotion here for Philadelphia and that Super Bowl win. And for everything that's said and done, I mean, you know, there wasn't a ton, there was damage. Yes, there was rioting, but not rioting. There was just, I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like the vibes in New York around this Knicks team have brought the city together, and I worry what happens tonight if this 13-game winning streak comes to an end.
Yeah, again, hopefully that's obviously not the case, but
I mean, hopefully not. Are you rooting? Are you? I mean, I know you're not a Knicks fan. I know you don't cheer for anything New York, but are you rooting? Do you have a dog in this fight?
No, I'm interested in the storyline of both of these matchups because I think it's a win either way. Either the New York gets that elusive championship that finally brings New York back to the pinnacle of basketball success, or it's Wemby, the start of a new era in basketball.
Is the torch? Is the Wemby era gonna be good for basketball?
I think there's, I mean, the start of, you know, everyone was rooting for MJ to get his first ring, LeBron to get his first ring, and eventually those guys who captured those.
I don't know if everyone was rooting for either of them to get their first ring. I mean, a lot of people said MJ wasn't that good and couldn't do it on his own, couldn't get past the Pistons. Definitely people were not rooting for LeBron. So, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's just, to me, it feels like with Wemby, it's when you sign on to the 2K server and you're playing against some dude who made his guys 7'7", 300 pounds. It's like, that's not fair, man. That's the cheat code. And that's what Wemby is right now. He's the cheat code. He's not the alien. He's the cheat code.
Yeah, he is. And I think, but again, yeah, I think anytime, again, you see one of these once-in-a-generation talents come around, they're special to watch, and then they eventually, again, turn into the villain.
Okay, well, why are they always on the Spurs? Why? I mean,
well, that's a conversation for another day.
David Robinson to Tim Duncan to Wemby. Can we stop letting the Spurs get these draft picks here?
The wheels, or the pinballs have been on their side. That's all I'll say.
Frozen pinballs, huh?
Frozen
Just like Patrick Ewing.
Like
Patrick. You got Patrick Ewing because of the frozen pinball.
That was the frozen envelope.
Yeah, okay, one. Back in the 80s, man. Yeah. It's been a long time. You've gotten 3 since then. Robinson, Duncan, Wemby now. Ay. All right. Are we going to get to this Penguin? No. We're going to talk about something else, and then we'll get to the Penguins sound in the next round. Time spent listening. We're teasing the Penguins fans here. We're getting them to stick around and hang out and be a part of WBRE, WYOU 28-22 Sports Night. I'm excited for Pocono.
I don't blame you. It seems like it's going to be it's always a spectacle.
Our Instagram question of the day was, have you ever been to a race at Pocono? And I had to vote no, because I have not. This will be my first, and I'm excited.
It's going to be a fun time. It's always a treat.
How many times have you been? You been?
I've never been there, so
this is your first one as well.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most?
I think probably again just the atmosphere. Seeing again all those people come together. Obviously, again, there's going to be some people celebrating Kyle Busch. Everyone's going to be partying.
Already up there celebrating Kyle Busch. Yeah, there was people up there. There's all sorts of stuff. We were up there, Heidi Martins. I'm sure I did not say that right.
You almost got Martens.
Martens was up there, getting a chance to see some of the prep. I'm going to get up there tomorrow is my hope. And I know you are hopefully getting up there tomorrow as well to learn 4 things about Pocono or some other things. So, yeah, really big week for us. I'm excited. And we'll be there live on Friday. 8 to 9, we're going to be live. The podcast will be live 8 to 9 from Pocono. That's after we're live from 7 to 8, right?
I was going to say,
Yeah, 7 to 8, we will be live from Pocono. That will be on WBRE and WYOU. And then 8 to 9, we'll be live from Pocono right here on the CTV app for Sports Night. So, be a long night for us.
It's going to be a really long night.
Guess we can't complain. I mean, we're going to a NASCAR race.
No, we're going to we're watching again. We get paid to watch and talk sports.
It's not the worst life in the world.
Yeah, could have it worse.
I've had it worse. I've been there. I've done that. That's why I quit my job quit my job. Yes, COVID, all of that fun stuff. You remember COVID? It's been a while.
Yeah, I was in the middle of college, so.
Oh my God, I'm so old. Actually, technically, I was in the middle of college too. Just happened to have been the second time that I went to college. But yes, let's reminisce. No, we're going to fit another quick break in now. So this way we can do a couple of longer segments when we get back, including, and yes, I promise you, right after this break, we are going to go over to the Toyota Sports Complex because I was there earlier. Well, I was not there. I want to thank the wonderful people at the WBS Penguins who were able to help us out this afternoon with some exit interviews and post-season sound. So yes, when Ricky and I come back here on Sports Night, we promise you we have the Kurt McDonald sound. So don't go anywhere. This is WBRE, WYOU 28-22 Sports Night exclusively on the CTV app. Hey, welcome back and welcome in to WBRE WYOU 28-22 Sports Night. Ricky Turner joining us in the executive producer chair. I am Zach Grady. And yeah, there's a little pep in my step here, this introduction. There's a little bit of extra bass in my voice as we get ready for the last 20 minutes here of the show. And that's because I'm delivering on a promise. I said I was going to do something, and I'm doing it, even though I said I was going to do something on the start of the last 3 segments, and we didn't do it. We are going to get right into it. Listen, Penguins, wonderful season. Great season. 3rd best record in the league. 46 wins, 101 points. A trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. That was mine. Don't worry, that was me. A trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. The first time since 2008. So a wonderful, wonderful season, but unfortunately coming to a close Sunday night with a 2-1 overtime loss to the Toronto Marlies in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And we caught up today with some of the team, including Coach Kirk McDonald here. And we're going to be listening to this closely as well because Kirk has a tendency to let one fly every once in a while, and we need to make sure that he didn't in this particular interview. But, Coach Kirk McDonald today talking about the season.
Coach, just 12 hours removed, but, have you started to, sort of reflect and, think on some bigger picture items? On a whole, this season obviously was, pretty successful.
Sort of. I mean, yeah, it was a good year. But I think it's always tough to end like this. And I don't think guys did great. Like we said previously, the guys did a great job. There's a lot of growth, but it's still pretty disappointing. I'm sure as the weeks go on, you look back with good memories, but I think it's a lot harder when 3 losses are really overtime losses.
Right.
Game 1 and 2 and last night, really 3 plays like we talked about it made the difference, and it's tough right now to really talk about the big picture. I know this was great for everybody in the experience and blah blah blah, but I think there's not a guy in there that isn't disappointed that we didn't move on. And, we'll look back eventually positively.
I did sort of using this as fuel motivation for seeing what it takes to get this far, and obviously. I don't think
interestingly, I went to the finals in Dubuque 2 years ago, and it was devastating. Obviously, it was a great group there. You don't get far at any level without a great group, but we were just better than everybody. It was. I never felt like there was a doubt getting through to the finals, right? And I didn't feel any doubt or panic here, but I think the higher you go up, how much harder it is, and the margins get even tighter. I look at that team, we just have better players. And I think we had better players here, but because everything's tighter, it just the bounces and the details magnified even more. I think it's a learning lesson for me. But hopefully it's a learning lesson for the guys too, because like I said, they are really, we are the youngest team in the league, and we were playing down to the Final Four where Toronto, their top line is old. Grue was 26, he would have been an old guy on our team, and the other 2 guys are in their 30s, right? I don't think we had one guy in their 30s on our roster. I think Boko might have been the oldest at 29 this year. Those are the lessons for everybody. I think is the detail, the margin for error is so slim at this level, and then it's going to get even the margin for error at the next level is even slimmer, right? So taking those lessons and just moving forward with that. But wherever the guys go next year, whether it's the returning guys here, hopefully there's guys on this team that are playing up top and they're playing in the playoffs in Pittsburgh next year. And for the guys that come back, I hope it is fuel for them to want to win 6 more games at the end of the day.
What's that like for you, not wanting to have some of these guys back next year, for their betterment?
Yeah. I said, we talked throughout the year, their success is our success as coaches, right? The coolest part of the year is seeing the guys go up and do well. Whether it's the start of the year, Bruno's on the team and he scores, and we had him last year. Hazy gets the 2 goals in his first game, and a crazy day where I was sitting with him in the training room at 11 in the morning, and he's scoring in Buffalo at 7 o'clock at night. That's the stuff as a coach. Those are our rewarding moments as a coach. You tell the guys you live vicariously through their efforts and stuff when they get called up. I never got to experience that. I wasn't, like a joke, but like I wasn't good enough. Like, and you know, as a coach, you get to be now in this position to watch these guys and you work with them every day, and like you see the effort they do put in. Like I think the people that aren't around the rink or understand the work that goes in for these guys to get to just this level and then take a step to the next one. Like they're a really committed group of guys, and then when you see them do that stuff, it's great. Like you're hoping all these guys go on to play in the NHL, and because like and hope myself and the rest of the coaches and the development staff can have a hand in getting them there, right? Like at the end of the day, that's what this league's about, and it's why we have a young team here, because we want them to get that experience, and we're not just like putting a bunch of old guys here where, yeah, it looks great, but like they're not going to help Pittsburgh someday. Like I think we had 13 guys out of 2,200, I think, in the game yesterday or throughout this series. I think like, it was close to that number, and hopefully not all of them. It's just like that's not the way it works, but hopefully there's a large share of those guys that are helping the big club do the same thing and go on a long playoff run in Pittsburgh down the road. And that's the ultimate goal, and to win the Stanley Cup eventually, right? Again, and hopefully they can help do that.
Just you'll be going through the exit interview process later today. Just how different is the off-season training and the sort of the programs you're going to be putting in place? How different will they be for these guys? Because the off-season is going to be much shorter as compared to last year.
Yeah, I mean that's out of my pay grade. Well, not pay grade, but my expertise. I try and teach them where to stand and where to go on the ice. But I know Rich and Connor and the rest of the strength and conditioning staff and the training staff will be working on making sure we're getting guys healthy and ready to go. They do a great job. They're the best there is, and I'm sure they'll adjust accordingly. But yeah, it's a quick turnaround. But I think they still have 3 months of work, and it's funny when you lose early and it's like you got a lot of time. All of a sudden, summer's like real boring, real quick, right? So it's like now it's it's been nice to have 2 more weeks, but I'm sure they'll get the work in. And these guys now, like sometimes I think they need more rest, and they're really anxious to get back in the gym. So hopefully they take their time to recover and get back to work when they're ready.
For the guys that finish.
Summer's gonna get real boring real quick, and yeah, that's unfortunately like what I'm looking at as I'm trying to plan out the rest of June of what we're gonna be covering every day. But no, I mean, listen, he said it. I mean, you can see it and you can feel it. Successful season, sure, but it's not what he wanted. It wasn't, the ultimate goal wasn't reached.
No, he talked about it a little bit. Yeah, they wanted to be playing 2 more weeks. He did.
We would have loved to cover him at least 1 more week. Not this week necessarily, but next week I would love to. Yeah, next week we're all on it.
But yeah, I mean, he was obviously a little bummed out from the result. Again, he said he'll probably look back a couple months and say, obviously, he'll probably be a little bit higher on it than immediately after, but it sucks. I mean, they had a really, really good season. They saw development from a lot of key players that might not be with them next year. And I think that's also what he tied in. He said, our job isn't to stack 30-year-olds here and boost up this, build a super team here. Our job is to, I think he said they had 13 players who 22 or under. Their oldest player on the roster was 29. So
I mean, but you know what? It's not building a super team, but it's at least building a core group of guys that will be back next year because they are only 22 years old. So there is going to be a core group that comes back. I think they're going to have to replace the goaltender, but they had a solid goaltending tandem all year. I mean, it wasn't until the end of the season that Sergei really took over as the every single night. I mean, they were kind of going 1-2, 1-2. I mean, Sergei was the one, but certainly there was a lot of effort on both ends of the goaltenders.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's typically how NHL teams do it. They don't really have it. Again, they're probably going to have their favorite, but
there's only a handful of teams that have a true number 1 goaltender.
Yeah, and you saw that, again, rightfully so, that Miroshov took over. He was playing great hockey down the stretch, but yeah, they have a sort of tandem there at goalkeeper, and I'm sure they're going to try and go out and, obviously the guy with second's going to be the number one this year, but probably going to have to go out and find another goalkeeper among the group next year, whether that's internally, whether that's externally. It's a good problem.
Yeah,
to
these are
have.
good problems to have. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially again with Pittsburgh, you're seeing how well Mirishov's playing and how well he's going to, probably fit in there in Pittsburgh this season. But again, a lot of talent. Even again with Drew McGorty, Tristan Braz, a lot of these guys are going to be returning next year, and they're probably they'll be right in the thick of it next year. This is a really good young team, a lot of success, and he ultimately wishes that probably we're playing a good 2 weeks from now, but it is what it is. And sometimes losses like these, as he explained, they were a young team. Sometimes you need to experience, as you mentioned with the Knicks, you need to eventually get over that hump and get that valuable playoff experience.
Another good problem to have is that it's 8:51 and we still have to take one more break and get back for our final segment here, which we're going to head to Nittany Nation. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. We'll be right back. We got to fit one more break in, and then we're going to finish out 28-22 Sports Night right here on the CTV app. Hey, thank you for joining us as we wrap up here on WBRE WYOU 28-22 Sports Night. That exclusively on the 28-22 CTV app, which you can get on Amazon, Apple TV, and Roku. We're going to get right into it here because we just got a couple of minutes left, and I want to get to something that I saw over the weekend here from Nittany Nation and the Penn State crew, because guess what? Football never stops. It never, ever, ever stops. So Saquon Barkley was back in the area. He was taking part of a youth camp, Saquon Barkley youth camp. That was, despite the fact that, he spent a couple of years in New York, this man's always been a Pennsylvania guy, going to Penn State and then coming back here in the Philadelphia area for some work at the youth camp. And this stuff is just kind of cool when you get the opportunity to get out there with probably future Hall of Famer, NFL champion. I know I've gone to do a couple of these things, but certainly not with someone to the extent of Saquon Barkley. It's usually been a retired player or an ambassador, but this is kind of cool, man.
Yeah, it is. He's certainly, again, obviously a guy who's well known, Penn State guy. So I believe our Nittany Nation crew. So I think it's out towards the Harrisburg area, in the State College area. Went to high school right side of our coverage area in Whitehall. I think one of our local teams opened up against Whitehall a couple of years ago.
This was at Bishop McDevitt High School.
Yes, I believe that's in Central PA there. But Saquon, looks like he's having fun, and also, again, great experience for the kids as well. And Saquon, he did talk a little bit about his Pennsylvania roots, too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I know you're out here for good cause today, support these youngsters. Why is it so important for you to do these events and give back to the youngsters in PA?
Yeah, I don't really look at so much as just giving back. I think it's just super cool to, align myself with something that I really love, kids and football. I know what the game's done for me, so to be able to come out here and have these kids come out and do some drills and, learn the game of football, but ultimately have fun. And I feel like God put me in an awesome position to have an impact on these kids, and I'm trying my best to do that.
Yeah. What do you hope that they can learn from just this day camp as they get to spend the day with you and doing some football drills?
Yeah, always the fundamentals, but to be honest, I'm trying my best to make sure I have some type of interaction with every single kid, and maybe that interaction may go a long way. You never know how much a smile or a little conversation can go, so I'm trying my best to do that.
You've been on quite the journey yourself. What do you want to share with them as you give each of these kids a little bit of motivation or talks about your journey. What do you hope you can share with them and inspire them to do?
Yeah, just anything. Just anything you want to do, you can accomplish. I feel like we live in a world where people try to tell you opposite of that, and I don't subscribe to that. I feel like I'm in the position I am right now because my parents instilled in me supreme confidence that I can do anything I want. So that's really the main message I want these kids to understand.
Yeah. Well, last one I ask you. You've got
Great message there. Thank you again from our Nittany Nation crew as well for getting us that. And thanks again to Saquon for getting out and being a part of the community here in the Pennsylvania area. And as you could hear, we are running out of time here, Ricky, tonight.
Yeah.
So, hey, got to plug it again. What are we looking forward to this week?
Looking forward to that Pocono race weekend.
Pocono, that is right. Listen, tune in tonight at 11. We're going to have some sound from Ryan Blaney, who is two-time Pocono winner, including his first ever NASCAR Cup Series win was at Pocono back in 2017. And all week long, we're going to previewing Pocono. We got interviews with drivers. We're going to talk about what to do out in Long Pond this weekend, especially dealing with some of the traffic and that nature, but also some of the fun things to do around the Tricky Triangle as well. End of this week, listen, Friday night from 7 to 8, tune in. We are live on WBRE, WYOU from the Tricky Triangle for our Pocono coverage. Then from 8 to 9, tune in right here on the CTV app. Sports Night will be live from Pocono on Friday. And then Saturday, once again, we are live on WBRE, WYOU 2822 for an hour from 7 to 8 p.m. on Pocono, getting you ready for everything that is going on as part of the Great American Getaway 400.